Hi everyone, good afternoon. My name is Mikey Abejero
And I am Geraldine Titalig.
and we are from Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in English. Our topic is about excerpts from History of the Philippines, Province of the Society of Jesus by Pedro Chirino, S.J.
The pagan false religion, idolatry, and sacrifices of the Filipinos. Pedro Chirino described the idolatry of Filipinos to be very vile, abominable things characteristic of their creator, and idols are digging into the wall of the infernal cave. He uncovers something frightful that it came only from hell. With the light of faith as the guide, it should put in order and let all the powerful God to open the eyes of those whose blind in their darkness love obstinately and commiserate those who are unaware of their miserable situation and being oppressed and tyrannized by the evil account. To unveil this, we should discuss first what pertains to the wrong belief of Filipinos, had of the divinity of their idols, then their priests, the minister of their abominable sacrifices, their sacrificial rite, the excesses and vulgar superstition.
The idols to which the Filipinos attributed divinity. The Tagalog gave the name Bathala to a bluebird as big as a thirst, which in Castle we call Avihuruko. The crowd they adored, like the Asians, as the god Pan of goddesses Ceres by naming it Maylupa, which means Lord of the Soil. They deeply venerated the crocodile. In all their thinking, whether they saw him in water, they addressed it Nono, grandfather. With tender affection, they prayed to him not to cause them harm, and for this reason they offered something from what they brought in the boat, which they threw in the water.
There was a Katalunan who was so intimate with one of them in the Manila River. She is treated like a domestic pet. It is allowed to touch it and be enchanted with her oil. Not difficult for Aristotle, who said that this beast can be tamed like the others who eat flesh, and Strabo affirms that there were tame geese in Egypt, adored more than in the Philippines. And to the surprise of foreigners, the priests feed them with their own hands.
Sailing around Panay Island, I saw on a rock at the point they call Naso, near pottle plates and other clay utensils which navigators were offering. On Mindanao Islands, between Canela and the river, a sharp point protrudes above a dangerous and deep coast. On these points, the sea always suddenly becomes agitated and risky and hard to round, as it is very high. They used to shoot arrows aimed which forced that they were embedded on the rock itself as a sacrificial offering to the gods to allow them to sail by. With my eyes, I saw that engaged at such a cursed superstition, the Spaniards set them on fire and burned an uncounted number, but in less than a year, they were embedded again more than 4,000 arrows, so they appeared to us who were sailing by, hence they called it Punta de las Flechas.
Only the river that they failed to adore, like the Parthian and Persian who in reverence refrained from spitting in them or washing their hands in their waters. Filipinos, on the other hand, do not drink from the river, although its water is very good, repelled by the number of persons without perception bathing in it and the numberless and various surfaces to which it is applied. For drinking, they make use of the various holes they dig in the river bank itself, which at a shallow depth provides the water they need, like the Egyptian when the river turned into blood.
Adored individual idols. Visayans used to call Diwata, the Tagalogs Anito. They had idols for their fields whose permission they asked when crossing without risk, an Anito for the crops to whom they recommended that they be fertile and, besides sacrifices, left their food to eat. Anito for water, for whom they asked for rain for their crops. Anito for the sea, to whom they recommended their fishing and navigation. Anito for their palm trees, for whom they asked protection from rats and birds which destroyed their crops. Anito for infants, to whom they offered at birth, and Anito when these began to suck. They kept small idols as souvenirs, rather badly sculpted of stones, wood, golds, bones, or ivory, which called likha or larawan. just as the devil propagated the false worship of this Pluto, Pan, Neptune, Nundina, and the other infernal monsters with which they tyrannized the world, though with changed names.
They also included among their gods all those who died by knife, devoured by crocodile, or killed by some lightning. Those souls, they said, climbed to the heaven by the rainbow, which they called Balangao. Many times during their funerals, they sacrificed slaves to serve them in a paradise of their dreams.
Filipino folktale. As the beginning of the earth, they had only the sky and water, and a kingfisher between the two. Tired of flying and finding nowhere to rest, he decided to provoke war between the sky and the water. It ended with the victory of heaven, which kept the water at a distance, allowing it to reach only to the shoulder, and filled it with islands and rocks, thus allowing the kingfisher to satisfy its desire for a perch to build its nest. The Filipinos drew the first man from bamboo. It was only for 2 nodes, but floating on the water. It reached the feet of the kingfisher, standing on the shore. It cracked the bamboo, opened with its beak. From a node, a man came out, from the other, a woman. A serious controversy followed, recognized by many arbiters, for the woman refused to be married to the man, her brother. So natural the woman's decency that even the diabolic fables of the barbarians make the man an aggressor, the woman modest and shy.
These people strictly hold on to this when arranging marriages, considering it the greatest insult for women to initiate the discussion or anyone in her behalf, even if she dies unmarried. Anyway, since the Council of Fishes and the birds, which affirmed they were married without breaking the law, they appealed to one of the gods, namely the earthquake, on whose advice they married and had several children. From these several brothers descended the various races of people and state. They said that angered at having so many idle and profitless sons in the house, like the eagles, the two agreed that pretending angry, the father intending to punish them with a stick in his hand, something they never had to know, drove them away. Some escaped to the clothrooms, others to the closet in the house, and from this they said the chef descended. Others flew outside, and these are the freemen, whom they called tiwala. Still others to the kitchen and under the house, and these are the slaves. And finally others to others' point, and these are the different nations.
A story to entertain, not badly put together and spread around. They had their own versions of the flood, glory, punishment, and other life. Hostile demons before whom they trembled and trembled very much. All quite unreal, and that only they can see, they all lies and legends without beginning or end. I shall add only one example here as a brief chapter of one which Father Cristobal Jimenez sent me from the Visayas on April 1560. It says, I have collected important matters of the errors of these pagans spread in 130 islands, where they say their dead proceed. There they laugh and sing, the old become young and live a special life. The trees whose roots are chains, bears already ripe fruits, utensils, bells, panicans are of golds. The sun on the river bank is an has rice. There is a sea of milk for the children and another on Linugao for the old. They live and died, returned to life, and they died so many times as to become like very tiny ants. There are islands so thick with boars that these are the only firewood used, and the pots used for cooking are skulls. Our race, they say, descends from a bamboo. The monkey came out of a second bamboo or node, and so is quite like a man. And as the bamboo grew, they developed and other animals appeared. All men died because they disobeyed Laon, the greatest of the gods, by killing the fish which entertained him. And all, young and old, died because when they shook the tree of delicious fruit, the small and big fruits fell.
It will be clear that in their time, Catholic truth is covered and darkened by the falsehood, like an erased image of which nothing remained except for some outline and traces. Their errors then, for some are predisposition toward the faith, for others are black. Some are based on the truth shining and brightening their dark shadow, others are blinded with so much light after keeping their eyes on the darkness of their lies, like the stubborn Paroa with the light of his magician.
They had no special temples and no public days of general festivities common among the ordinary people. They saw in Tanay only that houses had another smaller one, like a small bamboo tower, a bit quaintly built. From the main house, they passed to it through a short bridge, also of bamboo. Here they kept their clothes and other handicrafts to cover the mystery of the infamous outhouse. But as some converts informed me, they are really dedicated to the Anito, even if they did not sacrifice there, and it served only to make them claim it as their own, like the rest of their possessions. For that reason, they maintained it in something they valued, particularly a rooster, like the ancient pagans. They then have an outhouse out of their need to pass by it when going on a journey. As Elias said of the others, we had them taken down until not one has left.
The Visayas too had at the entrance of their village a rather bad small bamboo outhouse which served as a place for sacrifice. In other places, they are scattered in the forest, hidden from the Minister of Justice, especially after the feast. In general, however, it was come together for celebration by law of tradition. They had no special place for sacrifice which they offered for entire community, but each one individually offered a sacrifice for his intention or whim in the village or in field. They select for it minister, male or female. There were a number of them They elected for it minister, male or female. There were a number of them out of devotion or desire. They invite all from their village and others from around according to the solemnity of the sacrifice and the resources of the one offering it. I saw in Mindanao in one place attached outside of houses, bamboo galleries wrought with not badly, but just inside badly sculptured idol of a spongy bone like a wrought bamboo. In front I saw a earthen pot with some embers and a little smoke, which must have been of the sacrifices.